The United States bombed Syria. Here's a headline from the BBC. U.S. strikes Iran-backed groups in Syria twice in 24 hours after attacks. Right? So the United States said that it conducted 2 rounds of airstrikes in eastern Syria against groups affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's the IRGC. Okay, and where did these strikes take place? They took place here in so-called Green Village, which is in the Deir ez-Zor province, and here in Al Tanaf base. Al Tanaf is a U.S. air base, and it's very strategic because if you just look at the map, it's located right at the intersection of the border between Syria, Iraq, and Jordan. Okay? And so the United States is an air base over there. They say that it's there to deter ISIS. Well, thank you very much, but you can't just randomly go into other countries and just build a base because you think it's good to deter ISIS, even though that sounds very benevolent. Even in the BBC article, I mean, look what they say. About 900 US troops are operating out of bases in southern and eastern Syria without the permission of the Syrian government. Whether they say we're deterring ISIS or we're deterring this and that, yeah, well, this is ridiculous. This doesn't allow you to do anything. And I want to say something else in a second. Again, don't even get me started on ISIS, because the whole reason ISIS exists is because of the United States going in, removing Saddam, trying to remove Assad, creating this power vacuum, supporting Al-Qaeda. I mean, I'm not, the whole story, right? I've explained it 1,000 times. And now the way that they're trying to sell this is to say, we attacked groups affiliated with Iran, right? Because Iran is very bad. When you hear Iran, you must think bad. That's Western media in a nutshell. They also published video of the strikes. The Americans' argument is that they were attacked and that they're defending themselves. All right, this is what Undersecretary of Defense Cal said. He said, quote, "The United States will not hesitate to defend itself against Iranian and Iran-backed aggression when it occurs." The United States is over here, and apparently the United States is defending itself all the way over here in Syria. Seems a little odd. This is Syria, and the United States is all the way over here. How the hell are you defending yourself over here in Syria? You're not. And when even the BBC is admitting that these bases are illegal, I mean, what the hell am I supposed to say? This whole Iran-backed thing is also funny because the group could be an Iraqi group, could be a Syrian group, who the hell knows? But just because they happen to have support from Iran, that doesn't make them an Iranian group. When you go and you put a base in someone else's country, and you bring soldiers there with weapons and munitions and planes and helicopters, you're going to piss people off and they're going to fight you. Just like if Syria built a base in the United States, people would fight it. They would attack these bases. So I don't know how you can talk about defending yourself when you're on the other side of the planet, right? And you have no business being there. Even in Iraq, what the hell are they doing in Iraq? Right? The Iraqi parliament said, get out. The Iraqi parliament voted to kick out the Americans. I mean, they didn't invite them in the first place. In case you remember that the United States invaded Iraq in 2003 and it's still there. Their way of selling this is saying, oh, it's an Iran-backed group. No. It's nothing to do with Iran. The Iranian foreign ministry, by the way, came out and literally said, we have nothing to do with these groups and we have no clue what you're talking about. What I think any sane person would argue is that whether the group is backed by Iran or by, Venezuela or Cuba or Tanzania or, China is really irrelevant. That's really irrelevant because Syria has the right to, forge and form alliances with other countries and ask them for help when it's being invaded. You understand? Right? And that goes, by the way, for Syria fighting the Israeli occupation, because Israel is occupying Syria. So whether Syria gets support from Iran or, again, Mongolia, this is so irrelevant. This has nothing to do with anything. And you can't go invade someone else's country and then say you're defending yourself. How the hell does that make any sense? You're defending yourself. Well, don't go there then. Why are you in there? I have literally nothing to say except that. That's it. I have nothing to add at all. That this is a moot point. And again, it doesn't make any of this okay, but the only explanation that one could think of is maybe the Americans are doing this because they are signing the Iran deal soon, and they are trying to show Israel that they're still going to be tough on Iran. They want to signal to the Israelis that, hey, don't worry, even though we're signing this deal that you don't like, we still have your back. Please excuse us. We apologize. So that's the only thing I can think of, right? Because let me tell you something, man. These bases, there are a lot of them, and they are actually quite regularly attacked. And again, whether if the Americans don't like that, they should just leave. It's very simple. But yet they stay. And of course, why are these bases there? They're taking oil. Right? I'm always stunned by these articles. They talk about bases in Syria, and then they don't tell you what the bases are doing. They're stealing oil. And that's Donald Trump who said that, right? Donald Trump himself said that we are keeping the oil. And he said like, yeah, I'm removing all these troops from Syria, but we're keeping the oil. So he's explicitly telling you, that's not me. That's the former president of the United States of America. When he was in office, he said, we are just there for oil. I mean, what the hell am I supposed to say? And all the videos of the tankers, like every other week, there's like a new report of a convoy of tankers that are leaving Syria, and then they're going through the El Walid border, crossing into Iraq, where the U.S. have even bigger bases, which they built after they invaded it in 2003. So they're basically stealing oil from one country that they've invaded into another country that they've invaded with better bases. And every other week you have photos of this, you have videos of this, it's right there in the open. They're not even hiding it. It's just fucking oil tankers with protected by US armed forces going into Iraq. That's it. So that is what they're doing in Syria. Okay? Syria is just supposed to allow the Americans to come in the country, to bring weapons into the country. I mean, just try bringing a fucking pistol into the United States illegally and see what happens to you. They will put you in a camp and on a terror list. But it's okay for the U.S. to, send helicopters and planes and guns and just take over the oil and steal the resources, right? Delta Crescent Energy. Did I make that up? No, that's the company that was stealing the oil, right? And you had Mike Pompeo with Lindsey Graham in the Senate, and I showed you that video, and I posted it on my Twitter as soon as it happened. They were in the Senate and talking about taking the oil in the open, just like Trump. I don't know what to say anymore, about any of this, because it's just absurd. The only thing I can think of again is the Iran deal. And I think that's what it's about. They're trying to show the Israelis, oh, we still have your back. That's what it's about.